Hello, Lagos. Hello, world. It's a wonderful evening for any young person out there who is in search of work and who is in search of honing their skills to be able to get the opportunities out there, presenting and positioning themselves properly to be able to access opportunities. This session is for you and for every employer out there that also wants to understand the thinking behind how people create their CVs. And this session is also for you. Um, Particularly, we have a number of students from FUTA, faculty from of FUTA, that we're expecting live on YouTube and live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube and LinkedIn. Apologies, Facebook is out. Um, Please stay online, and if you can ask your questions, please drop them in the chat room. Without wasting much of your time, we have a very special faculty member from Inkipa, and also a friend of the house at Edgear, who will be speaking to us about our civil. I'll let her introduce the topic so that we get a full grasp of what she has for us today. And if you're not watching this live, note that this happened on the 20th of January and then you missed it live. But nonetheless, drop your questions in the chat. We'll always come back to the chat to check it out. All right, so very quickly, I have a wonderful young and enterprising lady who will be speaking to us for the next couple of minutes. Less than an hour will be done here. And she's an HR expert, certified HR expert, and worked in different organizations as an HR expert. And she's been through a number of CVs, and the students at Inkeeper actually do enjoy our classes so much, and we've decided that we need to bring her and let you guys out there have a taste of what we enjoy at Inkeeper. So without much ado, I would love to say welcome to the studio, Amaka. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Lagos. Um, so I'll just do a short intro about
Okay.
myself and then we get into it. My name is Amaka Eze and I'm an a licensed HR professional. Um, over the years, so sorry. Over the years, I've had the opportunity of speaking with young people. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I've had the opportunity of speaking with young people, talking to them about the job market and how to ace the job market. So, on this class today, we're going to be speaking on the same topic, which is about CV writing and um, preparing for interviews. So, from the information,
Hello, Amaka. Just to button your camera is off. We'd love to see your face while you speak. Could you help us check it?
sure, I will.
All right, we'll wait for you.
Okay, but can I go on before the light comes on? Because I had a hitch on the
Oh, you
line.
are having some power issues, I
Yeah,
guess.
power issues. Yeah.
Okay. Um. So, okay, you want to go off to take off the power issue?
Okay, not bad. Yeah, not bad. But if I can without my video being on, that will be better. If not, I
Okay,
can.
so we could take you off stream for a while and then
Okay.
come back.
All right. Thank you.
Once you have your video on, come back.
All right.
All right then.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Amaka is coming back. I see Williams Ozeme. We can't see Amaka's face, so we want to see her while she speaks. So what do I say to hang on and to hold the fort until she returns? What do I know about CV writing? What do I know about LinkedIn optimization? what do I know about acing your interviews? Um, let me attempt to do Amaka's job here. Um, I know that as much as possible, your CV should be a very good representation of who you are and what you have to offer to the organization that you are um, writing to. All right, so you very much from the start of your career, you want to begin to catalog the things that you do very well, your successes. If you have wins, if you have initiatives that initiatives that you have won in the process of your work. You want to put that on. Okay, I understand that the focus of today is actually interview acing. Okay, and I'll just give some of my own personal experience, even though I do not have so much of formal interviews. Um, but when it comes to interviews, I think that one of the best things to do is to be real and to be very honest. But it comes with a lot of preparation because you want to ensure that in your own mind you have sorted out what it is that is your expectation, and you must have done your research about the organization. So it's actually amazing when I find out that people actually come into interviews without doing their background research as per the organization that they're about to join. You need to research the organization. You need to be ready to actually pitch yourself to that organization. You need to be able to speak in a way that is not generic. So people, you shouldn't have a one size fit all interview um, answer ready for every interviewer out there. So as much as possible, you want to ensure that you've researched the company, and then you want to also ensure that you know the role. At least you have an idea of the role. Amaka, are you back?
Yes, and I'm so, so sorry.
And we still can't see your video.
Can you see it now?
Not yet. We still can't see your video. It's all black.
Okay, it's saying everyone can see and hear me.
Okay, maybe I'm the only one not seeing you. I don't know if at the back of the studio, if Titi can confirm if she can see. Okay, so
Someone
Titi
says
also.
you want to see. Okay, can you see me now?
No, no, not yet. You'll be
Do I
able to
need
also.
to log off?
Maybe you should. Maybe you should come back in. All right then. All right. So guys, I was talking about interviews, and I was talking about the fact that you should see interview as an opportunity to pitch yourself as a business and look at the people, the company, and the organization that is interviewing you as though they were investors and they would love to invest in you. Or you want to sell, imagine yourself being in a market and being on the shelf, and then you want to sell yourself to people. So you want to tell people the good qualities. You want to tell us about your pricing, and tell about the packaging. You want to tell about your the benefits of having you as a product and the likes. Amaka is back to rescue me. I think they did a good job for the last couple of minutes. So over to you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I deeply apologize for the break in transmission. Okay, so I'll just go straight into it. We're talking about CV writing and interview AC, interview preparation today. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen. We're going to make it as practical as possible. So, being that I have written CVs, I don't want to put a number to it because it's really a lot, right? I'll go ahead and share some CVs with you, and we hope to learn one or two things from them. Before I get started, from the registration forms record that I received um, from students from the grade footer, the data that I received shows that 51% of the students have a CV, while 79% have a LinkedIn profile. So it brings about the question, why the discrepancy in numbers? Why is it that more people have LinkedIn pages, LinkedIn profiles, than people who have CVs? Is it that LinkedIn is gradually taking over the place of CV? All right, that's the question that is left for us to answer. And hopefully, before the end of this session, we will get an answer to that question. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, can you see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen. Hello? Hello? Maybe it's me. Okay, great. Okay, great. You can see my screen. Great. I'll go ahead and bolden it as requested. So here is an entry level resume. Okay, now there are different differences between a resume and a CV. A resume details your biodata, details your work experiences, details your skills, what you're bringing to the table, your education, professional certifications, and that's it. Why a CV goes beyond that and details your um, publications, academic publications. It could be your thesis for those of us in the medical field, and for those of us that are educationists, right? It goes beyond the resume. You go ahead and provide some links to us about a research you've done, about publications you've made, about theses you've actually concluded. So that's a brief difference between a resume and a CV. So here on the screen is a CV, and I consider it as an entry level CV. So, looking at the format of the CV, you can see we started with a sort of an executive summary, which is kind of telling about the profession. I mean, the years of experience of the person, where they had worked, their skills, the skill they've utilized, the results they've delivered, and what they are currently looking forward to, right? So this says currently looking forward to advance my career in the business, telling all of that in one, how many lines? 6 lines. It could be less, as brief as possible, especially when it's entry level. So you go ahead to the next section with these areas of strength. You can call it your core competencies, you can call it skills, whatever you decide to call it. And you go ahead and list out your skills as it pertains to that job. Now, the mistake people make is when they're designing their resume, and they have, like, say, two portfolios. When I mean two portfolio, I mean someone that is a graphic designer and a digital and can do digital marketing or social media management. The best, most times you find people, students, fresh graduate, professionals generally, you find them trying to put in all of the skills in one resume. And I try as much as I can to discourage that, because it confuses the recruiter. So what I encourage you to do, in as much as, you have a lot of skills, you can do a lot of things. You can do business development, you can do graphic design, you can do software programming, whatever it is. When you apply for a job, focus on that job. Tailor your resume to a particular job at a time. If it's graphic design, tailor your skills, the tools, the experiences you've gathered, tailor it to graphic design. If it's software programming, tailor it to software programming. If it's digital marketing, tailor it to digital marketing. Do not try to see how you can squeeze in, skills for these two portfolios in one CV. No, I strongly discourage that. Okay. Now, moving on to professional experiences, starting from the most recent experience, right? You go ahead and give your bullet points of what you've been doing. And if you notice, I used active verbs. Please do not use continuous tense. So you see some CVs and you read things like identifying, developing, managing, and all of that. I strongly discourage that. I'm not saying it's totally bad, but I encourage you to use active, strong verbs to start your statements. Okay? Identify is firm. Is firm. It shows you're confident of what you've done. Manage clients, manage rapport, maintain, monitor customers' ever emerging requirements, drive the execution of divisional initiative, strong verbs. And they are in the present tense because it is a present job experience. Okay, it is not in the past. The person is currently in this position, so the verb has to be active present verbs. Okay, so moving on to the next section, key achievements, right? You can decide to do it this way. You can decide to have your key achievements after each experience, or you can decide to have like a summary of your key achievements just before your professional experience. You can create a section and name it accomplishment or achievement, and then you do those bullet points of your achievement. Or you can decide to do your key achievement under each experience that you have, like we did in this case, right? So moving on to the next one. The next experience here is at a travel and tours company. And look at what I did here. I used active verbs in their past tense. They're in their past tense because they have left that job. There is no longer their current employment. They've left the job. So as you can see, examined the client specification, organized, and coordinated. This should be coordinated, provided, stayed abreast. Sorry, we have limited time, so I'm going to be as fast as I can so we can cover much. Okay, so moving on to the next section, you will see education, right? Some people put education first, but I encourage you to put your experience first. Believe you me, the recruiter wants to see what you've done in the past. Experience sells more than education in this part of the world, and even in this century, 21st digital economy, experience, sells more than education. So I encourage you to put your experience first, your skills first, before your education. Now for the skill, please don't forget to put in your tech skills, all the softwares, the tools, the sheets, whatever it is that are technology, right, that you use to deliver on this job. Please put them under your areas of strength. Put those technology, put those ERP softwares, put those whatever it is tech related. Put everything out there. Then moving on to professional certification. As you can see, the education and the professional certification are under the professional experience, and that is what it should be before your experience. Now, I don't encourage people to put in their bio data. That is not to say that it's bad, but from my experience as a recruiter, I don't really care about your bio data, really. I don't care about where you're coming from. I don't care about your age. Like, I don't really care about your bio data, really. I care about what you've done in the past, the skills you're bringing on board. So I don't see any need for you putting in. No, but I've written CVs for some clients that insisted that I have their bio data in the CV, and I complied. Reason is because they were applying to the public sector. They apply for a job in the civil service, government jobs, in that kind of sector. They like to see all of those your religion, your local government area. Yeah. So not bad. You can put it out because that is what the recruiter is asking for. But I'm telling you, in a capitalist market, in the private sector, nobody cares about that. So I don't encourage people to put that because it can be against you. Actually, you can put in your date, and then the CV checks your date and it says, this person looks kind of older for this job. Is it going to fit into the team? That automatically disqualifies you. You know, there's a lot of biases. Actually, they can come from having bio data. So I try as much as I can to discourage people from doing that. Okay. Um. So I'll go ahead and share another CV. Now this one is for a more experienced person and for another CV format as well. Okay, so please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and if you can see my screen boldly. Let me know, please. Okay, let me see. So for here, the CV on my left is a Canadian style CV. All right, and this person is a senior person in the bank. I try as much as I can to comply with the Canadian style of writing. Again, depends on the country you're applying to. The UK and Nigerian has the same style of resume, right? Resume style. So the CV at my right, which is that of Olusegun, is the UK Nigerian CV style, and you can see is a senior resume. So looking at they're all C-suite resumes, but we're not going to go into this detail because I presume that people on this call, people on this seminar are entry level. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So I'll just go ahead and we'll talk about the next slide, which is about ATS, right? So I'm just going to briefly run through that. Yeah. So as we all know, or we may not have heard about the ATS. The ATS is an applicant tracking system. So it's an acronym for applicant tracking system. It's an electronic software, and it helps recruiters, HR people to streamline their recruitment process. As we all know, when you advertise a job, recruiters, companies, they receive thousands of resumes, and it is practically it could be time wasting to actually sit down reviewing all of those CVs one after the other. So that is why most companies, most multinationals who can afford these softwares have it in place. What it does is it helps the recruiters to sieve out CVs that are not in compliance with the keywords or that are not in sync with the job description. Yeah, so it serves like a gatekeeper that passes resumes to the recruiter to review. All right. So what it does is so how it works is the recruiter put in keywords in this software, which is applicant tracking system. So the keywords most time are words that are very critical to that job, words that can be related to KPIs of that job. KPI is key performance indicator, which shows whether you're delivering on your job or not. Keywords can also be industry jargons. Yeah. So the recruiter put all of these keywords in the ATS, right? So what the ATS does is it passes the resume to the recruiter based on the keywords that have been imputed by the recruiter, right? And it also works based on frequency, the number of occurrence of those words. So the more times that those words or keywords appear on your resume, the higher the chance of your resume being passed to the recruiter for review. Did you get that? So the higher the number of, the higher the number of times that those keywords appear on your resume, indicates the higher chance of your resume being passed to the recruiter, right? So moving on to the next slide. Um, so there are rules, there are do's and don'ts to making your resume ATS friendly. And these are going to take few of them. Infographics. So you see some resumes and you see some sort of bar charts. The bar chart may be speaking to their skills. So we'll say something like education 50%, relationship management 20%. All those bar charts, putting percentage, they are not compatible. They're not ATS friendly. So I encourage you to take those off. The pictorial representations in your resume, please take them off. What else? Then sending your resume in the PDF form, I strongly discourage you from doing that. So always send your resume in the Word document. Now, there are two ways of applying for a job. You either apply for a job by sending your resume to a recruiter via an email, or you apply on an online job portal. Now, the difference between these two is for when you're applying or sending your resume via email, fantastic. You can send it in whatever format you choose to. It can be in the Word document, it can be in PDF format, whichever format. Fantastic. You can send it if you're applying via an email, if you're sending your resume via an email. But if you want to apply for a job and it redirects you to a portal, like another site where you have to fill in your details, upload your resume, upload your cover letter, and all of those documents, know that you are applying via a job portal. And also know that there is a high tendency of that job portal having an ATS, having an ATS integrated into it. So you have to be careful. So when you're applying via those portal, you are to be very careful about the format. It must be in Word format. You make sure that all those pictorial representation, for example, let me see. Okay, it's not in this version. Let me see. Okay, I'm sharing something with you now. So if you're applying via a portal, which could have ATS integrated into it, I encourage you to remove icons like this telephone icon, the email icon, the house address icon. Take them off. Just leave it at just put it as words, like the way it appears here. Sorry. Sorry. So the way it appears here, you can see there in Word, no pictures, no icon. So just leave it this way. No pictorial representation of anything. And then you submit it you submit it in Word format. Yeah. Another one is footer and header. Please remove all footer and header when you're applying via an ATS as well. Remove all footer and header. Just stick with simple bullet points. Make sure you use keywords. Keywords that are related to your industry, that are related to the job, that are related to the KPIs, key performance indicators of that job. And use a very clean resume design. Now we move to the next slide, which is LinkedIn optimization. So basically, optimization is just one big word. What it just simply means is you filling in all the sections of your LinkedIn, right? Leave no stone unturned. Put in every information that you need to put in. We don't have enough time. If not, I would have taken us to LinkedIn and taken a step at a time on how to ensure that our LinkedIn pages are optimized, right? Now we're moving on to how to ace interviews. One thing is to apply for a job, and the other and most important thing is to land that job. And to land that job, so what the resume does for you is actually to get your feet in there. Is to get the employer, the recruiter, to give you a call and say, hello, I'm so person, calling from so company, and I received your resume, and I would like to interview you for so role. That is what the resume, and that is a very big deal. It's a very big deal because if your resume is not well structured, you won't get that call, which is the first and an important step, right? Now, the second and most important step is landing that job. right? So the resume can get you to the door, but acing the interview will get you the job, right? So in this age, since the corona period, we have been acclimatized to the virtual world. So most of our interviews have been done online. So you have to be very conversant with those online tools and platforms that companies use. Example are the Microsoft Teams. You can download Microsoft Teams. There's one that works for an individual and it's free. Check it out on Google Store, Apple Store, and download it. Check how it works. Yeah. Check out Google Meet. Company use Google Meet as well. Company use Zoom. So these are three. Excuse me. These are three platforms to mention a few. There are a couple of other sophisticated platforms, but the secret is once you get an interview invite from any company, read through your email and find out which platform that are going to use. It could be a physical interview, fantastic. You can go for a physical interview. But most cases, this era is virtual interview. So check out the platform that I'm using. If you're not conversant with that platform, don't wait until your interview day for you to start testing out, checking out how it works, checking out whatever. No, once you receive that email, download the app, check it out. You can call your friend or your sister or your brother to test out the platform, how it works. Then you can make mistakes and correct yourself. Then you can find out some errors or whatever it is, but you are getting yourself ready and you're setting yourself up for success, right? Now, most companies, I do it as well. Our first and preliminary interview is phone interview. So when we get your CV, I would say that your CV is fantastic. The next thing is to give you a call. And the purpose of giving you a call, and these calls, we don't tell you we are calling. So that means you have to put in your number that are active numbers, active emails. I've had experiences of people that put in their husbands and wives' number. I'm not saying it's bad, but then what if your spouse is not close to you at that time? It means that we'll have to be rescheduled. And recruiter may not have all of that time to get back to you to say, okay, this guy or this girl, it was a spouse that picked, so let me call back. Maybe the spouse is now at home for me to now reach. No, please don't do that. I discourage people from doing that. Please use your active number, use your active email. So people put their moms and their dad's number. Please, I discourage you from doing that. Don't do that, please. Okay, so the phone interview first. So basically, what the phone interview does for us is to make sure that we are not inviting for interview to waste our time. So we do a sort of preliminary screening. We ask about the job, the overview of the job, want to understand, get your understanding of the job, the role. Do you even understand this job that you applied for? Do you know what it entails? Do you have the skills? At least, understand how you sound, and if it's impressive and in line with the job description, with the success criteria for that job, of course, we'll confirm your physical or main interview. It could be virtual interview. We confirm that to you via a mail. So for the phone interview, nobody's going to tell you that. They're just going to call you up. Right, so you have to be really, really, really ready. Once you start applying for job, also start preparing for interview. Prepare how to answer key questions. Prepare how to comport yourself. Right, creating a short and concise profile of yourself, because the first questions, and it's a starter question that kind of an icebreaker for every interview, is introducing yourself, telling the interviewers about yourself. So you need to have like a short and concise profile about yourself, and that does not entail telling them about your family, how many you are in your family, the secondary school you went to. Very inconsequential. These days, we literally do not care about the secondary school you actually went to. Even though, you can just go ahead and give us a brief of your educational background, your MSc, your BSc, your professional certification, and then delve into your experience proper. Now, some entry-level student may be saying, oh, I'm just a fresh graduate, I just graduated. So how do I get experience? How do I talk about experience and all of that? So I encourage you, if you're still in school, a fresh graduate, look out for opportunities to volunteer. Look out for internship opportunities, even though it means not getting robust payment. It's part of the sacrifice you have to make at this point. Just get internship opportunities. Get make yourself available for volunteering opportunities. These will help you build experiences. Also, when you are in school, there are a couple of experiences that you can get from schools. I know some schools have admin offices. Yeah, you can actually, I don't know how some schools operate, but you can actually apply for summer jobs, like holiday jobs in your admin offices, in the library, in your whatever department. Just show interest, help to do one or two things. Yeah, volunteer to do one of those things. There are events in your department. Volunteer to organize those events. Volunteer to do one or two things. By doing that, you're gaining skills. The most important skills that can help you go far in life generally is communication. And I bet you, once you make yourself available for those projects, for those volunteering opportunities, you will build the skills. You build communication skills, you build human relationship skills, all of those skills you build, and of course, how to use some tools, tech tools, right? There are a couple of tech schools like Innkeeper, Edgear. We're doing a whole lot in that space, teaching and upskilling and reskilling fresh graduates and professionals with tech skills and skills that will help them really land jobs as soon as they graduate. It makes you, they help you be job market ready even before you graduate. So you should explore that. Also, researching the company is very good. You research the company rather than your value proposition, what you're bringing on board, the skills you're bringing on board. Research the recruiter and the hiring manager. I do this a lot. If you research, LinkedIn is a very great tool for you to do this, right? Once you get an email to come for an interview, check the name of the person that sent you an email on LinkedIn. Check those that are copied on that email, check them out on LinkedIn. From the LinkedIn, you see their profile, you see what their position in that company is. You are able to assess their level, not like their level, right? But you're able to get yourself prepared to be able to engage them on their level. Because another thing that can make you disqualified from an interview if you're not engaging. And for you to be able to engage someone, knowing the person ahead of time will help you. You already maybe you even read the articles online. You'll be able to know their psyche, how they think, their thought process. And it helps you better prepare yourself on how to engage such a person on an interview panel. All right. Writing down your achievements, your past jobs, experiences, the challenges you've encountered in your job, how you are able to scale through those. Very important. Moving on to the next one. So before I continue, I'd like to talk about appearance. I don't know if it's captured. Okay, yeah, so it's captured here. Dress and act professionally. Now, I want to emphasize on that because this digital era of virtual interviews, you will see some people, some candidates, because it's turned virtual, they tend to come casual. They do not, ordinarily, if you're going for a physical interview, you dress on suits or you dress smart casual or you look smart, you look good, you make up, yeah, and go for physical because it's physical interview, right? But most people, if it's virtual interview, they sort of casualize it like it's virtual interview. It's just for me to click the link and boom, I'm live and being interviewed. My appearance doesn't matter, but I'm here to bring you the news that your appearance matters, both virtual and both physical. Dress the way you are to dress to physical interview for virtual interview. Did you get that? So the way you will dress to a physical interview, dress that same way to a virtual interview. Makeup, look good, it's you don't know, but it goes a long way to tell how prepared you are, how ready, how serious you are about that job. Casualizing it tells the interviewer that it's one of those it's one of those to do's for the day, that you just want to tick that box for the day. This company just invited me. Let me just log on and see what they have to say. No, don't trivialize it, please. Dress appropriately for your interview, whether virtual or physical. So our interviews typically do not exceed 15 to 20, 30 minutes. They do not, especially preliminary first level interviews, they do not exceed 30 minutes, at most 45 minutes. So I know you might have asked such questions, or you might have imagined, how can a recruiter know me or get to make a decision on whether I can do a job or not under 45 minutes, under 30 minutes, under 15 minutes, whichever case it is. That What I'll say here is know we know through your resume, right? And that is why we're having the conversation in the interview in the first place, right? So your resume tells us about your volunteering experience, your learning experience, your job experience, and it tells about your skills. So the 20-30 minutes is basically for us hearing from the horse's mouth about those skills, and then making a decision on that. Again, that is why experience is very important, because you can imagine it's based on the experience that the interviewer is calling you, and it's based on your experience that they're asking you questions. And for you to get out of experience, it's very important that you start with volunteering and internship opportunities. I think most of the points here I had already talked about them. The next point I'm going to talk about is practice answering questions, behavioral, situational, culture fit. Please don't trivialize this. Look for sample questions online. And in 8th Gear, we teach you all of this on how to, get prepared to answer behavioral, situational, culture fit questions. Okay. Also prepare a question to ask the interviewer. Some persons, they trivialize it, actually. They say, I don't think I need to ask a question. But it's very important for you to ask a question. Please always ask a question, even if it's one question. It can be as simple as asking them the prospect of the job. What is your job prospect in that company in the next 1 year? Like, what do you stand to gain? Simply asking them the value proposition. Like, is it the training? Is it promotion? How often does the promotion come? Like, asking them the prospect of the job generally. You can also ask them when next you expect to hear from them. Like, when next can you expect to hear from them? You can also ask great questions around the gray areas in the job description, just to provide clarification. You can ask questions like who you are reporting to, especially when those information are not clearly stated in your job description. Okay. So getting direction is when you're having a physical interview. Of course, get to know the office address, and how to navigate your way to the location. If you Zoom, dress smart, look good, look your best for the Zoom call, the Teams call, the Google Meet call. Just look your best. Take a deep breath. Don't be nervous. Really, do you know that some of the questions we ask you at interview, we don't know them? For example, I'm an HR person. My background is in biochemistry and then HR, and I'm interviewing an engineering person. Well, I would say I don't have 100% grasp on what all engineering should entails, because I didn't study engineering. But I definitely know the kind of engineer that I'm looking out for. So some of the questions that I'm asking that requires you giving me detailed information, I do not really know them. It's from what you're saying that I can tell whether you're telling the truth, if you're saying it confidently, and the way you're saying it with one gesture. Of course, not excessive use of gestures, yeah. But gestures has a way of telling the recruiter that you're very confident about what you're saying, and you know what you're saying, right? So Yeah, the way you say them, the way you comport yourself, your courage, your poise, the way you speak, everything, those soft skills, they are really, really highly rated. And from those soft skills, we're able to deduce whether you're a good culture fit to the organization entire as a whole or the team that you will be recruited into. So please be very confident, take a deep breath, smile at the recruiter, look into their eyes, talk freely, is your field, and you are there to educate the recruiter. Really, that is what it is. But of course, do it without modesty. Like they say, there's a thin line between arrogance or pride and confidence. Is it arrogant and confident or pride and confident? There's this thin line. So of course, know how to balance up the two. Don't sound timid, don't sound scared, don't sound like you don't know what you're saying. Sound confident, but at the same time with humility. Yeah, I think follow up after the interview, but don't just follow up after that day. After the interview, of course, one of the questions you can ask is, when do I expect to hear a call back, get a call back, or to hear your feedback? They could say within 2 weeks, they could say within 1 week, they could say within a month. Please, I encourage you not to call until the 2 weeks timeline elapses. Then you can call, okay, and to follow up. You can call or you can send a mail to follow up. Yeah, so that's it for today's class. I don't know if I have a question. I'll stop sharing my screen and so I'll look at the comment section. All right, Titi, are you there? Do we have questions? Okay, I don't know if Titi can hear me. Titi, can you hear me? Okay, so we have a question. How can we apply for internships? Well, to apply for internship, we have to be following job boards. But of course, there are a couple of jobs, internship opportunities that are not advertised. So I'll encourage you to network, build a very strong network, and a very great tool to do that is LinkedIn. You can use LinkedIn, leverage on LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, you can see job posts in that light. From LinkedIn, you can make friends in your industry, talk to them about your career prospects, what you want to do, and you're looking forward to an internship opportunity. Just put the word out there for people to know that you are open for internship opportunities, and then follow job boards. And of course, there's a program that Inkepa does that after training, you know, um, the upskilling program, after the upskilling program or your training program with them, they have a way of, because of the partnership with employers, they have a way of getting you fixed somewhere. Yes, getting an internship opportunity. So I think and I encourage you to explore that opportunity. And most importantly, please network, go out, volunteer. It's during your volunteering opportunity that you meet people. And they will know that you're a fresh graduate or that you're a professional, open for internship, It is from those meetups, from those gatherings, that you meet people, or professional gatherings, volunteering opportunity. You meet people that can actually assist you with your job hunt. Yeah, so networking, joining the right community, following the right job board, talking to people, putting the word out there on LinkedIn, joining the Innkeeper network, and yeah, that's it. You'll be fine getting internship opportunities. Any other question? Okay, another question says, is there a way I can grade my CV to determine how good it is? Okay, there are a couple of softwares out there online. Sometimes they will do the CV for you and then they will grade you and give you a certain percent. But one thing I tell people about using softwares is software, I mean, those digital softwares, yeah. To write your CVs, they'll practically use your data. They'll give you a form. I don't know how it works. But of course, for them to get your information, they'll have to ask you to put in your data and then they will now get a CV for you and then rate it. Yeah, I know there are software like that do it. Yeah, that's for the software. But for me, practically, I'll say with that the sample of the CV that I shared with you, most of the people that I've written CVs for have gotten jobs. If they've gotten jobs and they've gone for interviews like never before, and that's because of the layout, the words you use, how you capture it, right? I'm not trying to discourage you from using software like Okay. All right. Thank you. The next question. I don't know if I was able to answer the last question appropriately. And please apologies, my internet was a little bit bad. Hi, Titi, are you there? Do we have more questions? How long is it advisable? Now, it depends on your ability to learn. I mean, how do I put it? Your how fast you're able to learn on the job, right? There is no um, stipulated time that you are to stay or work as an intern. It depends on you, how fast you're able to learn on the job, how fast you're able to grab the skills that you need for your next job, and of course, how willing or how fast you're able to land a full-time role. Either that your present employer, whom you are working with as an intern, decides to transition into a full-time employee, giving you a full-time job, or you get another full-time job elsewhere. So it all depends. There is no rubber stamp time, that you are to stay as an intern. It depends on how willing you are ready to learn, how fast you're able to pick up new skills, and how fast you're able to move. You can be an intern for 6 months and you grab all the skills, for example, digital marketing or graphic design or cybersecurity or whatever it is you're learning, is how fast you can learn and grab those skills and certifications needed. And of course, how fast you're able to land your full-time role. Yeah. Okay. So that's all. Thank you very much, everyone. And I'm so sorry for the internet glitch and power glitch and all of those. Thank you. And thank you to the 8 Gear team for having me.
Yeah, Amaka, thanks for the hour you've given us. Um, I'm sure that for those of us that have been online, we've picked one or two things. Titilayo, thanks. Williams, Ozema, thank you. For every other person that has dropped one comment or the other, thank you very much. We hope to have you back in another wonderful session. But in the meanwhile, we'll also say thank you for the insights that you have shared with us. Um, I'm sure questions are going to come from those who are going to see this stream after now, and then we'll collate them and we'll get back to you.
Sure.
We hope we'll be able to pull you in sometimes really soon once again.
Sure.
Thank you very much. And so
Thank
that's all.
you.
That's all, folks. Have a wonderful evening. Like we've said, if you have any question, you have any inquiry about what it is that we do, please put it down in the chat box, and then we'll get back to you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.